Hello, Internet. This is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Whirlwind Ladder Edition to bring you the StarCraft 2 shoutcast kind of thing. My partner today, as always, is Nov. That was his name before. Now it is Nov17. How you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. The players today are going to be DJHelium spawning as the Blue Terran. Everyone give him a round of applause, including you out there in Interland. Thank you, Nov17. I appreciate that. His opponent is going to be Iridium, spawning as this time, or actually he's always spawned as the Red Protoss. Give him some noise. Ooh, 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 ooh. Nice. And apparently DJHelium is random, or he plays both Zerg and Terran. Like I stated before, this is Whirlwind, currently a PvT. Knowing all things Terran, including Grand Masters Pro and beyond, Nov17, what do you expect out of DJHelium?
Well, odds are we're going to see bio, we're going to see multi-drops, we're going to see high-tech Protoss units slaughtering lots of Terran bio. And we'll just have to see who comes out on top here. This is still a very fast-paced, dynamic, high-pressure matchup. But it did get halted ever so slightly in HOTS by the introduction of the Mothership Core and that Photonic Overcharge. But with some smart play and some multi-drops here, those are still really great equalizers for the matchup.
And currently right now we see we see Iridium going for one assimilator opening, which is something that is slightly not so standard anymore out in a PvT as a Protoss, since you need a double assimilator to be able to bring out both the Mothership Core and the necessary ground army that you need to be able to hold off early Terran aggression. But seeing as how DJHelium is just going for a quick reactor barracks, might we see some reactor Reapers on the way?
Possibly. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna wager this. I'm gonna wager this is more for heavy dual marine production into some kind of expansion or something to that effect. But this is gonna be fairly late because his cyber core is already done. You could easily have a Stalker and a Mothership Core out before the first two Reapers hit. So I'm highly guessing. Oh, you are right in this. We'll just have to see how this goes. Because we do have two Reapers in production here. It's just that Stalker is just about done. No Mothership Core as of yet. But I think these two Reapers are more just there to see if they can get just a couple probes, get a scout out, and just kind of generally be annoying.
Yeah, and that's a great,
especially if this Stalker moves out right now.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about Reapers. If they do fail in their early harass and get 0 kills, they can still get great amount of scouting information. Double Reaper just means with a little bit of micro, they could actually kill off that initial Stalker and do that much more damage. But where it is placed currently, if these Reapers just kind of skirt the outside edges of the base, which they are not, they're going to go ahead and shove their face right into double Stalker. They're going to go ahead and pull on back, but DJHelium could still split these off and manage to get one behind enemy lines, get himself some great scouting information. Outside of the fact that his opponent is early expanding just like he is doing himself. And oh wow, a factory. So double Reaper into factory. So Widowmine drops, but off of one refinery. That's very non-existent. We're going to see a swap off of the reactor. So Hellion play? What are we looking at from out of the Terran player?
Well, we'll have to see. Yep, Hellions are now being produced 2 at a time. I mean, it could be possible you could be using these for just more map control and whatnot, and then eventually researching transformation servos and Blue Flame to kind of use them for drops or in some kind of supplemental mech army, or it could be some kind of timing push we've never seen before.
Exactly, and right now I see a quick Dark Shrine out of Iridium. Got that assimilator right after getting that double Stalker for defense. We now see 4 Stalkers there up against a nice squad of Marines, but with a quick micro, one Stalker does manage to go down, but half of Iridium's army is shredded, but those stalkers are just falling too quickly. The mothership core is there for defense. A single stalker remains alive. Mothership core joins the fray. Now it's just 2 weakened Marines versus 1 mothership core. What just happened? Looking at the resource loss count, 8 units killed by Iridium, 5 by Helium, 1 worker killed. So overall, harvest count equal. Units lost tab, we see around what you expect out of a PvT. Units lost in the favor of Iridium, but resources lost in the favor of Helium. No clear winner out of either of these two, but massive pull of these pros by Iridium.
Yeah, it's almost kind of weird that he had no vision of these Hellions coming.
Yes.
And yet that's very suspicious. Like, did I miss something? Is there vision? Is there a hidden pylon? Does he have a an observer outside? That was immensely suspicious. It's just that he would magically pull probes, and now as soon as they're gone, there they are again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and look deeper into this replay to see this, because that was
I feel like his that also kind of hurt him a little bit, because those Hellions basically never got in, and he lost all that mining time just guts.
And now here we go. We're gonna have to see Dark Templar into the main base. SCV surround on that missile turret to let scan does go down. DT down. Missile turret up. There goes that DT harass. Oh, shame on you, Iridium. This is going to be very interesting in the aftermath. I will definitely bring you an update if there needs to be an update. But right now, looking at the income tab, we see harvest count again around equal. Worker count now does favor Iridium, since he did manage to pick off 4 SCVs in that DT harassment. Now we see 4 gateways being put down. We're going to go ahead and see some more of a standard PvT, especially with those medevacs coming down. Concussive cells being researched as well, +1 armor, or +1 attack being researched by DJHelium. Templar Archives with that psionic storm. Pretty much a basic, pretty much a backbone of what you need in a PvT as a Protoss.
Yep, definitely one of the most effective area effect damage spells I'd say in the game, just because it's instantaneous as opposed to a missile having to connect to you, or a projectile like fungal now. So definitely brings PSI Storm up to prominence in terms of area effect spell damage. And the nice thing about it too, since it is spell damage, it isn't affected by things like Guardian Shield or any of that other funky stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Ever since fungal growth was changed from a insta cast to a projectile, Psionic Stormer is really I would say the greatest AoE outside of, I don't know, a siege tank. But here we go. We're gonna go ahead and see an attack. Really a small force out of DJHelium, not really favoring an attack into that Archon Zealot Stalker mix, and Iridium going to go ahead and set up his nice little bit of a flank, just trying to protect his extremities. Really just what you want to be doing in a PvT anyways. Time Bomb does go down perfectly on those Hellions, but it's going to go ahead and slip on past. Charge Lot's already on the field. That drop negated. Attack on the front dispelled. DJHelium is just failing on all fronts at the moment.
That he is here. I mean, he is not really that far behind in the units lost tab. I mean, he's just a few hundred resources, but that Protoss army is about to move out, and it is looking pretty scary. We've got charge. We've got about 3 High Templars with Storm Research, but they don't exactly have a high amount of energy. By the time they push in, I'd say he'll probably have about a Storm apiece.
Definitely, and the Storm apiece is more than what you need, especially when you have 3 High Templar. Forward pylons are being placed left, right, up, down. With that Archon charge lot, a couple of Stalkers here in the mix, and with the Mothership Core enough to be able to recall, this could be quite a bit of damage. SCVs are going to go ahead and push forward, put down bunkers. But no, they're going to go ahead and be killed. Nothing in the bunker just yet. Nice little bit of a wall off. Nice Sonic Storm. That's 2. 1 more left. Charge lots are going to go ahead and push forward. The final storm is put down. 1 more left that I did not even know that existed. High Templar are going to be more into Archons. SCV joining the fray, and that's not something you ever want to do. Great position by DJHelium to get himself the high ground advantage. Gonna pick apart that Protoss army, but at what cost? How many SCVs were destroyed in that? 33 workers killed.
You could, yes, that definitely true. Though you can say this, though, I saw 6 mules on that mineral patch during that battle. I mean, it kind of subsidizes the income temporarily, so our Terran player still has more money at this point, and he did come out on top of that battle. So I just really, it's going to be all about this next defensive hold, and if he can land any good storms, or if he has enough storms. Because right now he has about 3, 4, 5 High Templars now.
And right now, it looks like DJHelium already has his third base up and running. I mean, he obviously not going to have the SCV count to be able to saturate that, but the power of the mules, each mule is worth roughly 2.5. I do believe SCVs, if I am not mistaken. And given the fact that Iridium barely got his third base up and running, this is still anyone's ballgame.
It very much is, and the mule brings back about 30 minerals per trip. And if taking into account mining time, you could really consider that like 5 SCVs.
Oof. Man, Terran is just OP with those with those mules. But here we go. We got one medevac trying to skirt around the edges. Cyanide Storm's huge hits, but that medevac does manage to get around the edges of the map, and Iridium knows exactly where it's at. But at the same time, all the medevacs has picked up is all of his army, and is going to go ahead and lay waste to that third base. Now Iridium needs to make a choice to defend that third or that drop. The drop does manage to land. The pylons are actually a detriment to his own defense. Great hold by Iridium at his natural expansion, but at the same time, storms happen down at the third. The third is up and running, but again, another drop at the natural expansion. Zealots are there. 2 more left. Marine Marauder count getting awfully low, and again, DJHelium's going to go ahead and put himself behind those pylons, but the main force of Iridium there is back from his crusades at the third base. Going to force DJHelium into the main base of the Proton army.
Yeah, but I'm not really liking this multi-pronged drop because he hasn't really been able to do too much damage with it. And I mean, I feel like a lot of it is because of those High Templars, you know, laying down that feedback to prevent to incur damage and take away that energy. And just right now, I just feel like he doesn't have a strong enough army to really fight this Protoss army yet.
And right now, again, with Iridium with that 6th sense, knowing exactly where DJHelium's army is, pretty much just cuts him off almost instantly. And takes him down with great Psionic Storms, great Charge Lots. Archons are there. And another drop is going to go ahead and happen at the natural expansion. Did plenty of damage. I see plenty of Protein with another drop happening at the third. Archon Zealot army is there. Split off of the Protoss army, split off of the Terran army. It looks like it's going to be in favor of the Medevacs because they can actually lift and cross those gaps. Looking at the resource slot tab, workers kill count slowly coming into even footing between Iridium and DJHelium. 21 to Helium, 33 to Iridium still. And if this continues, DJHelium is just going to go ahead and crawl himself back into this game.
Yeah, but I really would have, that dropped just a few months ago in the natural. I really would have liked to see him pick up and pull back because he did manage to pick off several stalkers after he got a good amount of probes. So that was just, you know, picking up after the damage is done, saving the medvac, saving those bio units. He could have hit with a strong timing much sooner than what he may be able to do now.
And yeah, I mean, losing forces is never really a strong point for no matter what race you're playing. And here we go. We see it looks like DJHelium is going to go ahead and mobilize again for a multi-pronged drop. And as long as you keep that going up against a Protoss player, no matter what happens, the Protoss player is just off footing. He can't really tech beyond this High Templar Charge Law Archon kind of mix into the Colossus or anything else. And if DJHelium could just keep the Protoss player off his just natural progression of things, he could get himself for 4th, maybe in a 5th base without too much worry. But the main is almost saturated, almost mined out, and the natural is getting there alongside. Really, the only thing mining is really his 3rd base while he's attacking the 3rd base of Iridium. Another great Psionic Storm, really bringing, oh, and it looks like DJHelium a little bit of a misstep, not timing that correctly. He's going to go ahead and pick up his units. Emergency Afterburner is used almost immediately. He's going to go ahead and drop into the main base, which is a great move, since it takes just a little bit of time for his Protoss opponent to get there, but
I love to see him double back on that third.
Immediately Iridium just drops, or it goes back into the main base. I would like to see him, exactly, I would love to see him pick up and go back to the third, but charge lots are there, slicing apart that Terran army. Feedbacks on all those medevacs. A lot of these are low on energy. About 3 or 4 medevacs were dropped, but again, a Stalker Zealot Archon force is there to catch the double back of the Terran forces, but a 4th base is up and running, or is going to be finished in about 20 seconds. For Helium, will it come into effect in this game? I don't know. What are the research counts on both of these players?
I know that the Terran player, he's creeping up here on having +3 weapons very soon. His +2 infantry armor is just about done. I think our Protoss player here is just a bit behind. He's got his ground armor and weapons level 2 for each, kind of coming down the way. So he's definitely been considering. Oh,
yeah, that was a huge storm. Even if Iridium wins this battle, all of those units are into red fresh. A swarm in of those charges from the behind pretty much forced Helium to just pull back, and just a little bit of a miss micromanage by Helium cost them a lot of HP, a lot of needless energy on those Vedevacs. But again, another drop at the third, and again, this multi-pronged drops by the Terran is just a saving grace of DJHelium. He just clawed himself back into this game. I mean, he's sacrificing squad after squad of Terran units, Marine, Marauder, a single or maybe even a duo of medevacs, but he's buying himself time, crawling himself back in this game. Gonna go try to pick off the 4th. He might get it. It's down to about 50% hull damage, and again, and it looks like he does manage to bring it down. Iridium just decides to leave it alone, and all of those probes are there for the picking. Look at that. Helium has brought himself into the plus column for that workers kill, 37 to 33. This is what happens when you let a Terran player keep you off your back, keep you on your back foot for a long, long time. Oh,
and still not correcting this probe rally here is definitely gonna hurt him.
Oh, 40. That hurt.
He's a little bit mineral heavy here, yet has so few zealots. Kind of strange.
But unfortunately, has 4 warp gates, 7. He only has 7 warp gates. At this point, you want to have at least a dozen or so to be able to just dump them. Great psionic storms on the entire army of DJHelium, but it mostly consisted of Marauders. Managed to tank most of it. Without energy, all those High Templar are forced to be morphed into Archons, not able to attack back. Look at this. DJHelium now with a huge food advantage. He lost about 20, but still up about 50 on his opponent. Again, Archons merging. He decides to just say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take my party and hit into your main base. Attack these suckers that are warping in. Free kills. 1, 2. GG Iridium. Well played. That is it. Looking at the units lost tab, around equal. What you expect out of a PVT. The drops were just too powerful for DJHelium. Iridium could not handle it. Losing that 4th was just huge. He had great splits, knew exactly where his opponent was going to drop, but he just couldn't do it, couldn't micromanage, couldn't split his attention, and that's ultimately what cost him the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looked a little suspicious that he was able to know exactly where those medevacs were going to go just without. But I mean, but then again, there could be definitely something.
Yeah, we'll look into it. We'll come back if we see anything suspicious. If not, this was a clean game. If it wasn't a clean game, we'll hit the Twitterverse with my 1s and 2s of followers and have fun with it. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this replay. I know I was fantastic, A++, maybe even S or G level. Nav, on the other hand, come on, man.
Since when does G come after S in rankings?
Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave comments down below what we could do to make these more enjoyable for you. If you have one of your own replays you'd like for us to cast, upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.sc is very fun. Also his GG tracker because of all the stats. That's it for me. What say you, Nov17?
Hacks are bad.
Okay, later, guys.
Later.
Yeah, we gotta look.